What is going on, boys and girls? Jim here, RCAD. This is our last Christmas Day unboxing video. Christmas 2021. Tamiya Volvo A60H hauler. 6x6. Let me adjust our brightness a little bit here. Plus 1%. Alright, so we bumped up the brightness 1% here, so excuse our color differences with that. What we're going to do today is take a look at the box, see everything that it has to say, rip our plastic off, open it up, look at the contents of the kit, and then we'll be building this kit on another day. Once again, Christmas morning here, Christmas afternoon, 2021, and this was my Christmas gift from my brother.
To James from here.
Let's see what he got.
Oh look, another Tamiya.
Another Tamiya.
Ha ha.
Oh, it's the dump truck.
Tamiya dump truck. Wow.
Very cool, thank you, that's awesome.
You're welcome.
So, many thanks to my brother for this Christmas gift. Let's take a look at it. Volvo A60H hauler, 6x6, 124 scale, radio control, off-road vehicle. And then that says that in a few other languages here, or at least one other language. Ready to assemble, radio control model kit. Body uses polycarbonate and ABS components. Stickers included for decoration. Gear-driven 6-wheel drive chassis can be assembled with 4-wheel steering. Separately sold 4-wheel steering function, transmitter, and etc. required. Assembly kit. G601 is our chassis. 4-wheel steering is available as long as you get a transmitter that's capable of that, an extra servo, and whatever other hardware that you need. Alright, let's flip the box over and check out one of our sides. Flipping the box over, tops here, this is our next side. G601 chassis, radio controlled 6-wheel drive off-road vehicle. The fun G601 chassis is based around a tough slimline monocue frame and offers excellent off-road performance thanks to a 6-wheel drive system. Power is provided by a motor behind the front wheels and transmitted to front, center, and rear differentials via gears. The gearbox is sealed to protect from dust and debris and integrated into the frame. It has built-in front, center, and rear differential gears to provide smooth cornering. 6-wheel double wishbone suspension is fitted with friction dampers, while yellow deep rim wheels are paired with 113mm diameter lug pattern tires. A 2-piece steering rod setup utilizes the servo on the left for excellent response. So we have a servo on the left here, they're saying for excellent response. With suspension reassembly and separately sold transmitter with 4-wheel steer function and RC equipment, the rear wheels can be made steerable, as we read on the front. And then there's a good look at our transmission, which is the entire frame is the transmission. So I'd imagine it's pretty solid from front to back. We'll have to take a look at the gears to see how thick those are, but looks like a pretty fail-safe setup that they have there. And can take on 40-degree angles, so apparently you can climb a 40-degree angle with this as well. Our length is 486 millimeters, our width is 270 millimeters, our height is 210 millimeters, and our wheelbase is 173 millimeters plus 126 millimeters. So 173 millimeters from the center of our front axle to the center of our forward rear axle, and then another 126 millimeters from the center of our forward rear axle to the center of our rear axle, and that puts us at 299 millimeters from here to here. So 299 millimeter wheelbase. Electric motor, double wishbone suspension. And then our picture here is basically just a diagram showing you where everything is located on the vehicle. Steering servo, front tires, 113mm diameter, coil spring front bumper unit, where the electronic speed controller gets located, where the receiver gets located, the bed support for the bed, the Tamiya battery pack, cylinders for lifting the bed itself, and all the other good nonsense. Volvo A60H hauler, 6x6. And then finally over here on the right corner of Volvo with Volvo.com, the Volvo trademarks, word and device, other related trademarks if applicable, and the Volvo designs are licensed by the AB Volvo Group. So there is the Volvo licensing for Tamiya. Pre-cut and painted cab included. Cool. Polycarbonate cab is pre-cut and painted in camel yellow and gunmetal. Requires application of stickers, attachment of parts, and painting of bed stays and cylinders. So you still need to do a little bit of touch-up work, but for the most part, the cab is already painted. That is cool. You need to apply the stickers, and they say you can do some added painting here and there if you want to. 124 scale radio control off-road vehicle, Volvo A60H hauler, 6x6, 124 scale, and then some Japanese, I'm assuming. Volvo's impressive and varied vehicle lineup is home to a highly successful range of working vehicles. That includes haulers for heavyweight work in mines, quarries, and the like. Among them is the A60H that was announced at the Bauma 2016 show in Munich. This RC model assembly kit depicts the A60H with a polycarbonate cab section, capturing the hauler's distinctive lines. and a sturdy bed molded in ABS plastic. Stickers are included to recreate details such as front grille, air outlets flanking the hood, headlights, logos, and more. And we have a bunch of Chinese or Japanese writing down here. Excuse me if I'm wrong on the writing. And once again, our specs down here, 486 millimeters long by 270 wide, 210 millimeters high, and our wheelbase once again 173 plus 126 for a grand total of 299 millimeters. And then over here on the side, we have some optional parts that are not included. Aluminum steering servo mounts, heavy-duty half shafts or CVDs, oil-filled shocks, and a heavy-duty servo saver. And then over here we have separately required items: 2-channel transmitter, batteries for transmitter, a receiver, servo, or 2 servos if you want to go with 4-wheel steering, 3-channel radio, or possible 4-channel radio if you want to go with the 4-wheel steering as well, or something with a mixer on it, ESC or electronic speed controller, battery pack, and your charger. And then it says that in other languages as well. Tamiya 124 scale, blah blah blah. Checking out one of our sides here, same picture on both sides. Picture of our vehicle, excuse the flash, the lighting in here is pretty bad. Volvo A60H hauler 6x6 radio control off-road vehicle, 124 scale once again, blah blah blah. G601 chassis. Alright, let's get the camera off the tripod and get a closer look at this girl. Continuing our way along, getting up close and personal with the box, checking out everything that we had previously read off. G601 chassis, radio control, 6-wheel drive off-road vehicle, not to be redundant. Can take on 40-degree angles, once again. Here's a good look at our transmission / frame. Much like an old-style farm tractor, the transmission is the frame. Should be a pretty solid setup, depending on how thick the gears are. There's our front differential, center differential, rear differential, and the motor is located right here. Front bumper is spring-mounted. Taking a look at everything else here. Length, 486 millimeters. Width, 270 millimeters. Height, 210 millimeters. Wheelbase, 173 millimeters plus 126. Electric motor, double wishbone suspension. So once again, 173 millimeters from the center of the front axle to the center of the forward axle, and then another 126 millimeters from the center of the forward axle to the center of the rear axle. So 299 millimeters from point A to point B. Checking out the truck here, truck itself and everything that is on it here. Tires, once again, 113 millimeter diameter. Coil spring bumper unit, showing you where the electronic speed controller gets located, where the receiver gets located. Bed support, this fits up into the bed. A couple little body pins secure it in place. Location of the battery. Steering servo, on-off switch. Servo horn leading underneath the chassis going towards the front wheels. Center rear axle. Bed. Rear axle. And if you were to hook up 4-wheel steering on this, I believe the next servo would sit right here on these 2 points. And the servo horn would be going this way, leading towards the back axles. There's a peek at that nonsense. Once again, Volvo A60H hauler 6x6, blah, 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 blah. Volvo, trademarks, Tamiya. Spinning the box around, here's a peek at our pre-cut and painted cab, which is included. Polycarbonate cab is pre-cut and painted in camel yellow and gunmetal gray. Once again, all you need to do is apply your stickers to that, whatever other little touch of paint you want to do. Their little read-off nonsense, your optional parts here. Aluminum servo mount, heavy-duty half shafts or CVDs, oil-filled shocks, and a high torque or heavy-duty servo saver. Separately required items: 2-channel transmitter or 3-channel or 4-channel, depending on what you want to do with your vehicle. Batteries for the transmitter, receiver, servo or servos, ESC, which is your electronic speed controller, battery pack, and battery charger. So depending on what you want to do with your vehicle, whether you just want to have steering on the front or if you want to have 4-wheel steering, you want 4-wheel steering, you're going to need a 3-channel radio with some kind of mixing, and possible 4-channel radio if you want to do some further modifications to the vehicle. So that's a peek at everything on this side of the box. Once again, Tamiya 124 scale, blah blah blah. And there we go, back around to the front of the box. I've got the brightness turned down on the camera, so we're looking at it as it's meant to be seen. Excuse my shadow in the background. Good looking rig. Can't wait to get this thing together and see what it's all about. Once again, it is 4-wheel steering capable, as long as you get the hardware and everything that is needed to complete that project. And we might just do that. Make it 4-wheel steering in the process. Alright, let's crack the box open and see what she looks like on the inside. Alright, we're going to peel the plastic off this guy. Nothing fancy here, just a box cutter. Kids, be careful with knives. As I say in most of my videos, if you're not a careful kid, have your parents do this. knife is not very sharp, which can be dangerous. Leave a little bit of plastic there to use as tension. Yeah, I'm not going about that the best way. Just trying to get this guy open. Excuse my arms in the way and all that other good stuff. We've done 3 unboxing videos so far today. This is the 4th. And the previous 3 weren't my vehicles. We had 2 for my niece, a Kyosho Trail King for my brother, and then finally the Volvo for myself, and this was a gift from my brother once again. So my brother's Christmas present to me, which was greatly appreciated. Had no idea it was coming. Just kind of mentioned it in passing that it was a truck that I kind of liked and thought it showed some good potential. Excuse my arms and what have you. She's tough. There we go. Alright, what do we got here? Blast of yellow. Taking a look at our bed. Pretty nice looking bed from what I can see. Good shape to it. Let's see what it looks like overall measurements here. Width. Outside to outside, 7 1/8, roughly 7 1/8 of an inch, 7 1/8 of an inch to that outside bed rail, roughly. Overall length, rough dimensions here. We're looking at right around 11 3/8 of an inch from the tailgate all the way up to the header rack. Overall depth, deepest part on the bed. Eyeballing it here to the bottom of the camera. Looks like we're about 2 5/8, roughly 2 5/8 to the top of that header rack from the bottom of the bed in the deepest part. Not too bad, all reality. Next bag of goodies. Got a bag of gears, all plastic, pretty wide. Sign of durability right there, so that's a good sign. More gears. 3 fat idler gears, from what it looks like. Not going to call out any parts just yet. Never built a G601, but looks like we have 3 fat idler gears here. Next bag of goodies. Blister pack of plastic parts. Looks like a possible rear bumper right there. Some links down here, some body mounts in here as well. Shock parts, looks like some shock caps. Some shock cylinders, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Some lower control arm parts there that need to get put together from what it appears. Other shock parts, other body mounts. Next bag, we've got some uprights. And I'm not too sure what these guys are down here. We'll figure that out. Servo horns, wheel hexes, servo saver, another servo horn, amongst other things. Next bag of goodies, we've got some steering knuckles, it appears. Sorry about the plastic view here. Servo horn, more wheel hexes. Not too sure what these guys are for. Once again, some more uprights down here. Another servo horn and servo saver. Tires. Nice set of tires already pre-mounted on the wheels, and these are lunchbox style tires. Or at least that is the first vehicle that Tamiya produced with these tires. Not lunchbox wheels. They're pretty much solid on the back half. There's a look at our wheels. And we've got 6 of those tires and wheels. Our next blister pack of parts here. This looks like a bumper, but I don't think it belongs on this vehicle. Not too sure what these guys are for. Looks like another bumper right here. Possible frame rails, but I don't think it's for this vehicle. And that looks like some kind of chassis bracer support right there. X blister pack. Well, this is similar to the first one. Looks like we have another skid plate slash bumper of sorts. More control arm pieces right there. Not too sure what these are. They might be some servo linkage parts. More body mounts up here in the corner. More shock parts in here as well. Sorry about the glare. Yeah, upper links, lower links. Appears to be a bumper. Body mounts. Whatever else in there. Looking at our transmission halves here. Main gearbox slash transmission slash frame. One thing that concerns me about this is the motor location, which is right down here. And I believe you can only get 2 different size pinion gears on here with a standard 540 end bell. I believe it's an 18 tooth and a 20 tooth if I'm not mistaken. I might actually say it on this thing somewhere. Or not. But I believe you can only get an 18 tooth or a 20 tooth on here, and I want to get this vehicle geared down as low as possible. Another thing that I'm seeing here that's kind of concerning me are these little holes everywhere, little breather holes. So you might have to clog those guys up with some grease or put a little dab of silicone on the back half or something. Don't necessarily care for those little holes there. Alright, let's get the tape measure out and see what this guy looks like. Overall length. From end to end, we are roughly 13.5 inches. Between 13 and 3/8. 13 and 3/8. I guess there's probably more on the money for that one. Next blister pack. It's like a battery hold down area maybe, or a possible skid plate. I'm not too sure. Once again, don't want to call out any parts, not having seen the manual. And more wheel hexes. And these appear to be significantly fatter than the previous ones. They look to be about, I don't know, somewhere between 8 and 10 millimeters maybe, if I were to guess. So more wheel hexes all the way down the line there. And our last blister pack of parts. Looks like we have a front bumper. Some cylinder halves down here, hydraulic cylinder halves. That might be one of our bed mounts down there for the bed axis point or axes point. Not too sure what these guys are. This looks like our bed stay right here, or bed support. See a couple body pin holes right there, amongst other parts as well. X-part bag. Oh, this one's pretty important. All of our hardware. Gotta look at our motor. Not too sure how many turns that guy is. Some shock ends down here, eyelets, hardware, some little pivot balls and screws and what have you. Possibly a tube of grease or dielectric grease or something right there. Probably not dielectric grease. Got some shock springs up here. More hardware. I apologize for the lighting and glare. Whole bunch of shafts right down here. Looks like some double-sided tape right there. And a whole ton of bushings. Oh my goodness, look at all those nylon bushings. There is a ton of those things in there, along with a couple of brass bushings. And we will not be using bushings on this project, mark my word. So there we go. There's a look at our hardware, our serious hardware. And finally, last little item to be removed, which I can't grab a hold of because it's like 10 degrees in my barn. Plastic antenna tube. Excuse me. Very cold. What do we got here? We've got a Tamiya pamphlet or warning label, or something along those lines. If you happen to buy one of these vehicles, feel free to read through that. Our manual. Let's put that off to the side for 1 second and see what our stickers look like. Gotta retrieve those ever so carefully. Great looking stickers. I apologize for our brightness here. Let's turn that down just a wee bit there. There's the camera to focus in. Our Volvo stickers. Windshield trim, windshield wiper, A60H. It's like our cab trim right there with faux headlights. Our Volvo stickers. Some stripes to go down the hood. Door and window outlines. Some warning labels. They look like they have a carbon fiber kind of look to these guys. G601, Tamiya. Yeah, nice looking sticker kit all in all. We'll treat that very gently. Put that back inside the box. Let's take a peek at our G601 manual. Oh, manual. Warnings. First page. Looking at our transmission halves. Getting right into it. First page. Building the transmission. Slapping the transmission halves together. So right on the first page and second page, it goes right into the transmission. Which stands to reason, since that is also the frame. Next page. Motor installation. Pinion gear placement. And I believe the pinion gear, in case anybody wonders, that is a Mod 6 pinion gear. Module 06. So Mod 6 pinion gear for this guy. So we got our motor installation, our front half shafts going together, our out drive cups going together, our lower control arms getting put together. Steering knuckles getting put together. I love Tamiya manuals. They are just extremely user-friendly. Very easy to build a Tamiya kit. Looking on the rear suspension. If you're going to add four-wheel steering to this vehicle, when you start working on that rear suspension area, you might want to skip around in the manual until you find that four-wheel steering section and put it together on the spot versus building the rear suspension and then taking it apart and reconfiguring it to four-wheel steering. So they're showing you our steering servo placement for the standard steering servo, working out the links, how it all gets mounted. Well, those were our bed supports down there, those big long triangles. That is a bumper apparently. Cold fingers. That bed stay right there. Mounting the bed under the vehicle. I don't see our rear steering as of yet. Receiver, ESC, on-off switch location. Getting the motor plugged in. They have a jumper wire going to the motor. ESC receiver placement. Building the faux cylinders for the bed. I mentioned it's cold out here. My hands are turning colors here. Looks like the rear suspension area. Stock rear suspension setup. No four-wheel steering on that setup. Front bumper. Battery installation. Cab sticker placement. Cab installation. Aha! Four-wheel steering option right there. We are on page 23 before we get to the four-wheel steering section. So if you plan on doing the four-wheel steering option, when you get to the point in the manual that you're building your rear suspension or assembling the rear suspension, you might want to skip back to page 23 and set it up for the steering option versus assembling the rear suspension and then taking it back apart only to reassemble it with the steering option. Moving on, finishing up with our four-wheel steering at the back. Our servo setup right there. rear steer servo, and its location right there. Some do's and don'ts. And then we have our parts glossary in the back, showing you what everything is, and the corresponding part number for said parts. G601 chassis, Tamiya Volvo A60H hauler. That is a good peek at our manual. And there we go, we got everything put back inside the box, and I'm fairly certain that nothing is in the same order that it started in. Alright, little FYI here in case you guys and gals are wondering what I plan on putting in this vehicle as far as electronics and things of that nature go. Number one, I'm going to be using a Spectrum SR515 5-channel surface receiver, and I will be binding this to my Spectrum DX4C transmitter, 4-channel transmitter. So 5-channel receiver getting bound up to a 4-channel transmitter. Receiver will be going in this vehicle. Our ESC, electronic speed controller, I will be using a Axial AE5. Axial AE5. And this is out of another one of my vehicles, so I'm just kind of reappropriating this ESC. Servos, since I'm going with the 4-wheel steering option, I will be using two Savox SW0231MGs. SW0231MG, waterproof steering servo. And I will be spray painting these guys either black or camel yellow to blend in with the vehicle. Most likely black. Motor. We're going to start out with this RC 4-wheel drive 65 turn crawler motor. This is gently used and being reappropriated. I had this in my RC 4-wheel drive Trailfinder 2 about a year or so ago, but didn't get too many miles on it, so it should work out good for a starter motor in the Volvo. That's what we'll be starting out with. And finally, the last item to be installed on the G601 is a Fast Eddie's sealed bearing kit. Tamiya A60H hauler 6x6 G601 sealed bearing kit, which has all the bearings that we're going to require for this project, courtesy of Fast Eddie's. Well, not courtesy of Fast Eddie's, I had to pay for this. Normally I order all of my stuff from A-Man Hobbies. All my vehicles and hardware and things of that nature all comes from A-Man Hobbies. I just don't live anywhere near a hobby store. But when it came to these bearings, A-Man Hobbies didn't have these guys listed. I typed in Tamiya A60H hauler, G601 chassis, nothing popped up for bearings. So I had to go to Fast Eddie's directly for these bearings. If you have a bearing issue and you can't find the bearings for the vehicle that you need, Google Fast Eddie bearings and take a look at their website. Not being sponsored by anybody, I did pay for these bearings, so no freebies here. Just letting you know what I'm using in the vehicle and where I got them from. So that is our last item to be installed on the vehicle, is that bearing kit. Alright, so there we go. We got all the items in the vehicle, just waiting on build day, which should be somewhere around the corner. And there we go, back around to the front of the box again. We got a real good look at our sweet Tamiya Volvo A60H 6x6 hauler. Many thanks to my brother for getting me that for Christmas. Much appreciated, Ian. Very cool. Can't wait to get this thing put together. We got a good look at the box, a good look at everything that the box has to detail. We got a good look at everything that comes inside the box, meaning all the kit parts. A good look at the instructions, a slight peek at how the 4-wheel steering goes together, and you guys also have an idea of what I plan on putting in the vehicle. So that is going to do it for right now, boys and girls. Very much appreciated for y'all sticking around and watching the video, and we will see you all on the next one. Thanks again.